Hi, and welcome to the review of chemical formulas of ionic compounds. In this video, I'll walk you through the first two examples. Let's begin by looking at the instructions. It says select the charge for the cation and anion, then write the chemical formula of the ionic compound made from the cation and anion. So as you can see in this table, you are given a list of cations and anions. You're provided the symbols for the cations and their anions. You have to figure out the charge using either the periodic table, the polyatomic ion chart, or in the case of transition metals, you are provided with the charge in Roman numerals. Cations are the things that are positively charged, and anions are your negative charge. Once you know your charges, you can write the chemical formulas. So let's look at the first example. Our cation is aluminum, so I would look in the periodic table to figure out the charge of aluminum. In the periodic table, we can see that aluminum is in group 13 and it has a +3 charge. So I would select +3 from the drop-down. I know my answer is correct because the box turns green. If I select the wrong answer, like +1, it'll turn red. So aluminum has a +3 charge. Now let's figure out the charge of nitrogen. Nitrogen is in group 15 and it has a -3 charge. So I go ahead and select -3. Now I'm ready to write the ionic compound, the chemical formula of the ionic compound. Recall from this slide that when writing the chemical formula of the ionic compound, once you know the charges, you either use the crisscross methods if the charge does not cancel out, but if the charges do cancel out, you just write one of each. And that's what we have in our example. So since the charge of aluminum and nitrogen cancel out, +3 and -3, I'm going to write Al in. I'll type that in the box here. Once again, I know my answer is correct because it's green. If I got it wrong, let's say, for example, I thought I was supposed to use the crisscross method here, and I wrote Al3 in 3, the box will be red. That's how you know it's incorrect. Let's look at one more example together. So here we have example 2, we have calcium. So I need to figure out the charge of calcium. I'm going to go to the periodic table. Calcium is in group 2. It has a +2 charge. So I select +2. Now phosphate is a polyatomic ion. I know this because it has more than one type of atom. It has phosphorus and oxygens. So for this, instead of using the periodic table, I will use the polyatomic ion chart. If I look for phosphate in my polyatomic ion chart, I could see it here at the bottom, and it's a little hard to read, but the charge is 3- or -3. I will go ahead and select -3. Now once I know the charges, again, I can figure out the chemical formula. Since the charges +2 and -3 do not cancel out, I'll have to use the crisscross method. So that means I'm going to need 3 calciums, and that comes for the charge of the anion phosphate, so Ca3. And then I'm going to need 2 phosphates. Now, since phosphate is a polyatomic ion, if I need 2 of them, since I need 2 of them, I'm going to write PO4 in parentheses first and put the 2 on the outside of the parentheses. And that's correct. If you do something like forget the parentheses, so I'll type it in there without the parentheses. Whoops, sorry. If I do Ca3, PO4, 2 without the parentheses, it'll show up as wrong. So make sure for polyatomics, if you have more than one of them, put parentheses around them. If you don't have more than one, if you just have one polyatomic, don't write in the parentheses. Hope you found this video helpful. Have a quality day.